Thank you everyone for joining. We'll be starting today's session, and happy to be here today with Vlad, the product mastermind behind today's launch and behind Raise Hub, a new, I would say, a new product we're launching. I think we've launched this week, and we're very proud of, and that is accompanying a bit the vision of what we're delivering to the market in terms of tools for founders to democratize the fundraising process and also enable and simplify how people fundraise. We've received already the feedback that we're creating the angel list of Europe, and I think it's a positive association to be made, and something we're happy and proud of, and therefore today we'll be using this session in order to give you a bit more flavor into the context of why we did this, and as well as an actual demo of the product, how easy it is to use, how to set it up, and as well as being able to answer any of your questions around legal implications, product implications, and pricing if necessary. So with this being said, I'll share with you my screen. You should be able to see my screen, right? Vlad, if you can confirm. Thank you. Great. So your host today, as I mentioned, so myself and Vlad. Vlad is the product mastermind behind Raise Hub, and as I delivered a bit on the agenda. So to give a bit of context of why we decided to go into Raise Hub, and I think it's important to acknowledge a bit the history of SeedBlink and where we started. Namely, 4.5 years ago, we built up this investment platform. You can call it crowdfunding, but at the end of the day, we wanted to build the European investment platform for tech startups. And this vision has morphed, I would say, 1.5 years ago, when we started building an additional equity an equity management layer. We realized that fundraising is just an aspect of it, but at the end of the day, we want to tackle, and especially in Europe, there needs to be tools to tackle how people access funding, access equity, how they manage their equity, and also how they sell their equity. And basically, Raise Hub comes into this vision of making fundraising more streamlined, more accessible, and easier for founders, and also for angel syndicates, but mostly for founders, to create a profile, to prepare for funding, and also to actually execute a syndicate on our platform. So that's a bit the context of why we're building Raise Hub, in which there's a clear lack in the market for simple tools to use in the fundraising process, and there's also some lack of, I would say, knowledge in the European landscape. So this is a bit the context of today's product launch. With this in mind, Raise Hub has 3 modules, and today we will focus on the execute part of it. But the vision of our equity management platform is to become a hub where you can prepare for your fundraise, where you can actually execute your fundraise, and then you also are able to govern your relationship with your stakeholders after you're performing the fundraising, be it on the reporting end, be it on the signatures flows with your shareholders. So everything related to the moment you start to decide you want to fundraise, and therefore you want to know how your cap table will look like after the rounds with simulations. You want to receive some initial reviews on your pitch deck, then actually setting the round and collecting funds from your network, as well as managing the relationship with your stakeholders after you're finalizing the round. This is a short mention which is relevant also to the fact that SeedBlink offers both regulated services on the crowdfunding end, as well as private syndicates. So the raise within your network is we imagine a world in which every company creates a profile, and they want to be able to fundraise. We're seeing that fundraising becomes a continuous activity. So every startup company and any technology company that I've met over the past 4.5 years are continuously fundraising, and therefore we want to be a part of this world where it's so easy to create a profile in which you input your data, you input information about your company, and then you create this profile that you share with people from your network, you share with investors that you want to bring along, and with a few clicks they basically can be part of your journey, and you can track the progress of who has been investing. You can send reminders and all of that. Obviously, when we can get into the details of how it works from a legal standpoint and also an operational standpoint, but the main idea is that we want to simplify how founders fundraise. Therefore, all the main idea is that founders create this hub. They can see who's been investing. It's a straightforward and simplified process, and then all the investors are pooled into one legal structure. Therefore, no corporate headaches and governance headaches after you're executing the round. With this being said, I want to invite Vlad to be able to start with the presentation, and if there are any questions, feel free to shoot them out in the second part, and write them down to not forget them. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Eric. Hey guys, great to be here. Actually, my first session, so I hope this goes smooth. I'm gonna begin by sharing my screen because actually what we see in the tab here is also something we actually get in our main screen in the app. So just give me a second. Let me know, Eric, if you can see the screen, my screen.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, just gonna move this here. So everything starts. So I'm on my company profile. Of course, this is like a fake company I'm running here in SeedBlink. But basically what you would do is you can notice this new section here, which carries elements from also the prepare, but also the execute. In today's demo, we're going to focus on the execute part. And basically you begin the process by clicking start your raise here. So it's going to be pretty simple. But before that, we kind of, let's say we outlay a process of how this looks like, and the same process you were looking at the presentation before. So we're gonna go through the steps, but just to keep it easy, first you're gonna define your round details, basically how much money you're looking for, what's the investment vehicle you're going for. Next step would be basically to just give us a couple of documents around your company and yourself. You can also check the contract and make sure everything looks right. After you've gone through this, basically we will look over all your details and we will activate your round. Basically, at the end of the story, you're gonna get a custom URL that you're gonna be able to share it with your investors. Okay, so let's get this demo live. So I begin by clicking on start your raise. So first screen I see, I can either go for a syndicate round or a direct round. We were talking before about the syndicate round, and I'm gonna continue down this path. Direct round is something we're also working on, and you can like sign up for, let's say, a beta, but for now we're just gonna focus on the syndicate round, which comes with all the nice juicy things Eric was telling you about, like the nominee structure that groups every stakeholder within one legal structure. So I'm going to choose the syndicate round, and next basically I'm getting this 1, 2, 3, 4 steps where I get to define the initial details of the round. So let's say I'm looking for a seed round. I'm looking to get for 50. There's no already committed amount, and I have to choose like a close date, and I can say, okay, let it be 1st of January next year. And the minimum target amount, this is basically the number after which we actually enable the money collection from the investors. and I'm going to hit here like €50,000. Sorry, if I go above this, the money collection process will begin. If not, then I can either wait or I can just close my round if it's not successful. But hopefully that's not going to be the case. So I think those were pretty straightforward. The next is my investment instrument. So I hope you guys are familiar with safes or convertible notes. These are the two options we currently allow. We're also going to enable equity via the platform, but just to keep in mind, like equity is always on the books, but the platform doesn't support it. But if you go and talk to Eric or like our investment managers, you can also do it another way. So just for simplicity reasons, we're gonna go for the safe instrument initially. I'm gonna say like, okay, a valuation cap of, let's say 3 million with a discount of 10%. The minimum investment ticket size, this is basically like what's the minimum ticket you want your investors to put in. Our current minimum is €500. You can also have €5,000 if you think that's the case. I'm just gonna go next for now. And last step within this process is asking me to pick like my pitch deck. I'm going to just select here, let's say the SeedBlink one. Okay, so basically these 4 steps are like the initial steps, which I was talking about, the preparing your details. Now, basically, you're going to end up in a screen that looks exactly like this. You have all the round terms you have previously selected here, and you can click on edit, and you can easily change the terms before you go ahead with the next step. Now, what I was telling you before is like in this preparing stage, you can see here there are multiple statuses, but in the preparing state, you need to fill in all the tasks here basically. So first is just like we need like an ID from the company founder or from the company admin. So I'm going to click. I'm going to select my ID here. I'm going to submit this. And you can see once it's been done, this has been like a green check. I can also edit it if I want to go back. I can remove it. I can add another one if I made like a mistake. The second is like verifying your business. Basically here, what we ask for is like a trade registry extract, hopefully dated soon enough. So it needs to be recent enough. I'm gonna click submit on this. I can add the payment details here. So I'm just gonna choose a country. Bank address, this is optional. And I don't have an IBAN currently, but I'm just going to produce one. We also ask for a bank confirmation letter, which is basically a letter you get from your bank. You can usually get it from your home bank or from your like digital bank. You can ask for this, and we require this for like basically KYB reasons, because we need to make sure like who we're opening the platform for. I'm going to check for IBAN example pretty fast because I don't have one right now. Just 1 second. Okay. Okay. The next step is basically you can either upload your own contract or you can just use our template since we've started with the safe vehicle before. This is our template that you can download, you can read through, and you can make sure everything is fine, or you can upload your own template if you so decide to do. I'm just gonna leave it as it is for now. And the last step, which for me, was done because I was playing around in the platform, but basically the last step is making sure you have your company profile filled in. And we're going to use this profile information to set up your round page based on the things that you have written here. So you can find here like the general information like address, company type, etc. The business details, which is probably maybe the most important part of your own page. Ultimately, where you can talk about the problem, the solution, whatever you feel it makes most sense for you. You can add different images or videos, the industry, like business model, the number of employees, different URLs you have. So basically, kind of everything you already see today in like SeedBlink's rounds. You see, I added Eric here as my head of revenue here. I hope you don't mind. And I can click save. Regardless, it was already saved. Okay, and now going back to the raise part of the raise hub, you can see that I get a ping here that all steps have been completed, and now I just click submit, and basically all this information will go to our special department that's going to look over your documents, the rounds, the details you put in, and if everything checks out, basically the process will continue from there. Ultimately, you getting a custom URL I was talking about to share to you with your investors. Now, if I could just hide this a bit, because I also have on my staging environment, it's an environment we're using locally. I just wanted to give you sorry, not this, a glimpse. I just need to move this. Okay, so basically once your once your custom round, so your private round becomes active, this is how the dashboard will look like. So basically you're gonna get an idea of, okay, how much money was committed, how much money was actually paid, what's the goal, how many days you have left, etc. You actually get here like an invite link that you can copy and send it to your users. And basically here is, I think it's the most interesting part for everyone, and something that we've been asked before in the past. Hey, I need to see like who are the people who are putting down the money and like what's the status they're in. Of course, our platform will make sure the investors will get all the notifications, and then they're going to have like a smooth process to invest in your company. Basically, I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with like the looks of the platform, but this is just like a demo I did very fast right now for you guys. But you can see the round page here. I actually committed before, so you actually got to see something within the dashboard I was showing you previously. But basically, this is depending on the type of information you put in, the more information will be made available for your investors. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Also, for you to, I think it's good to know that there's like a lot of documentation around like the entire process, like different terms, everything you need to understand. So basically, if you click in either the how it works, or you need to learn more, or you can also get in touch with us from the SeedBlink team by just clicking the little chat icon here. So we're trying to do the best we can to support every founder that comes and wants to open up their own private round with their investors. We also have like tools here for preparing. Eric was telling you a bit before about these, but for today's presentation, I think we're just gonna focus on the execution part of it and not go deeply in the other. So I guess that's about all on my side. I'm not sure whether there were any questions, but we'll try to address them later on. Okay.
Thank you, Vlad.
I'm gonna stop my share now. Sure. Okay.
All right. Well, moving forward, basically, as Vlad has mentioned, we're focusing today's presentation on the actual execution part of it, but we have also embedded tools that give you an automated pitch deck review. That it's a simple way to test your ideas, and the reality of fundraising is that pitch decks are changed probably every month or so based on the feedback of the market. So this is and it gives you also slide by slide analysis on how to better present your deck, as well as giving you a database of VC. I think over 1,000 VC funds in Europe that can be filtered based on stage and also thesis, as well as giving you the options of simulating how your cap table will look like after the financing round. So especially when you start involving a convertible loan agreement or a safe note, the question then it needs to occur, how will your cap table look like after the conversion? So these tools of preparing give you some insights and give you, I would say, the armor, so to speak, to go into this fundraising activity.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Sorry, just to say, it's important to mention that they're currently live in the platform. So I invite everyone who's interested in like trying the pitch deck review or looking through the VC database. These things are live on our product already. So feel free to play around with them and like share some feedback if you have any.
Thank you. And then, as mentioned, there's also we want to include also the post funding and the reporting and the stakeholder governance aspect of the relationship, so to speak, into the platform, in the sense that once you start fundraising and you get the first money in, it's a whole different ball game than just running a bootstrapped company, because any investor that comes on board has a certain reporting requirements. They want to be included and have access to the company's details, to have access to the company's also activity, as well as actual cap table in real time, basically cap table. So this is what SeedBlink Equity at its core brings, and these are features that you can benefit from while using the Raise Hub functionality. So with this in mind, we also wanted to raise your interest on the special offer that we're currently having until the end of October, which is basically a 30% discount on any of our subscriptions that will allow you to start fundraising and start creating your own syndicates within 24 hours. Provide, of course, with all the disclaimers, provided that you have all of the documentation ready and all the documents ready to actually start fundraising. On the execution side, within 24 hours, you can have your round live and then start pitching and then start convincing investors to come on board. With this being said, I wanted to thank you for the time and give the floor back to you. And if there are any questions on this topic. There's a question related, how does the syndicate work? I'm assuming it refers to the investment vehicle we're using, and namely at this point in time we're supporting we're facilitating these syndicates with our existing nominee structure. So we have incorporated a limited company in Austria, which is offering nominee services. So essentially, each investor becomes a beneficial owner of the shares that it has in a target startup, and the nominee is the legal owner of the shares. So what would happen technically is, once a startup founder creates a campaign page, an investor would then go onto the platform. They would sign a nominee agreement, in which the nominee would then represent them in relationship with the startup, SeedBlink would collect all of the funds within a segregated account, and then the nominee would sign the agreement on behalf of the investors and wire the money to the founders. Then in terms of governance, this nominee structure is fairly flexible in the sense that there's few reporting duties, and every voting or that needs to happen in terms of decision-making process is fairly simple, just a yes or no kind of decision, and then at the investor level, which is then reflected on the nominee level by our administrator. As well, additionally, this nominee structure allows you to do continuous fundraising. So once you've used the nominee once, you can use it continuously. We've seen startups that over the course of the years they've opened up a safe note or a CLA, and every year until they got to a larger Series A round, they were just upping the cap of the valuation cap of the note, and they were able to use this structure for 2-3 years before they went into an equity round. And that's a bit, I think, I hope this gave you already some insight into how the nominee structure works. So in terms of the decision, in terms of process, assuming all the documentation is ready within 24 hours, the round is set. So if you have all of the documentation ready in terms of KYC, certificate of incorporation, ownership structure of the company, and also the executive summary and the presentation of the company on our side, within 24 hours, this can be live and up and running.
Yeah, and it's also good to know that you can also basically extend your round once it's ready. Let's say that it's you haven't met your goals. For me, the most important, or I think the coolest part is exactly what you were previously saying, that you can actually hold your investment round open for a long time until you reach your desired. But even when you reach it, you can still further extend it, and you can actually get money out even though your round is still active. So I think that's very, very important, and hopefully will be very appreciated by founders using this system. Yeah. Cool.
There's another question related to what do you need to get started. I mean, from a legal standpoint, the company needs to exist. The company needs to exist and operate in order to be able to attract actual fundraising. So this is but that's the basically minimum requirement from a legal standpoint to happen. And then of course create an account on SeedBlink Equity, purchase a subscription, apply with the documentation, and then start fundraising. We've had clients also which were at idea stage, but they had the legal framework for it, and they wanted to attract their first angel investors via this structure. So this can work for companies at idea stage, which have a legal framework, up to companies pre-IPO, because at the end of the day it's a tool that can be used no matter the size or the maturity of the company.
Cool.
All right. Well, if there are no, we can wait for another 10-15 seconds if there are any additional questions from the audience. If not, you can reach out both to me or to Vlad. Our email addresses are our name.surname at seedblink.com if you have any questions, and we would be more than happy to address them and walk you through the functionalities of the platform and how it would look like in order to continue fundraising, to start or to continue fundraising, depending on where you're at in the journey.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to any feedback you guys might have, or anything that if something didn't feel natural or something you had trouble with, always looking forward to your feedback as we constantly try to improve the product and make a better experience for everyone involved.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Vlad. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Wishing you a pleasant afternoon and a good day forward. Thank you.
Bye-bye.